First of all, if you bobbing, I don't care what the other niggas say.
This is so good.
Thank you.
It's so good. Oh. I love it. Okay, now I have to. Okay,
Hey,
how do I get the whole thing? I
Huh?
want to just like bop out to the whole thing.
Okay, I'll send it to you. It streams on. Okay, we gotta get it centered, Dr. A. Where's our center gonna be?
I gotta scoot over this way.
Okay.
Okay, go.
Okay.
It feels weird because the computer is over here.
Yeah, but we look. But this is right now.
It's the camera.
Yeah.
That we're
Okay,
worried
it's
about.
right now. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'll move this behind, and you stay there so I can move yours over.
Oh, okay.
So initially, I was gonna do spoken word. I was gonna get some tracks and do spoken word, but when I got the tracks, that's the whole thing too. Like the whole project is all about destigmatization and destigmatizing community. Where I started with my people first, my family.
Right.
Every track on here is by my chosen nephews.
Oh, wow.
Yes, who are not living with HIV.
Yeah.
Okay, who when they heard it, and I hadn't had a conversation with either of them. Like it's two separate, like my chosen sister, god sister, and my other chosen god sister and god brother was their sons who were doing music. And I was like, well, can y'all give me some of y'all tracks? And I was like, I have a budget, I'll pay y'all for y'all tracks. So I bought the tracks. I bought 4 from each of them because at first I thought it was going to be like 5 to 8 songs. And then I listened to the tracks. I was like, okay, I like this one. I don't like that one. Like that one. So when I sat down to write the spoken word, I was doing like this here, and I was like, this, and I was like, I'm not a rapper. So Ian Haddock from Norman in Houston, he was like, brother, rap only means rhythm and poetry.
Come on.
He freed me.
Wow.
He said rap is just rhythm and poetry.
Yeah.
So whether you say it slow or fast, So I said, well, let me do this. Let me try to do this. And I literally sat down, went in the studio. My producer, the whole purpose of this project, like destigmatization, my producer, I found out after that his father is a minister, has been a minister of music of one of the largest churches in Baton Rouge for 24 years. He's coming under him, but he's totally not with the systemic holy religious stuff. So when we were in the studio, he was like, real, this is crazy. He was like, I've never had anything this meaningful, like work with somebody that's meaningful. Because when I first went in, I was talking to him, I was like, so I'm doing this project, and I was like, listen, is this a safe space? Because I need to tell you what I'm trying to do. And I took a conversation. He was like, wow, 24 years old. He produced the hell out of that track. So it was just such a blessing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. So we kind of like starting in the middle. But, all right, so let me do my introduction. And then we're going to have to
you have to do it. Yeah.
or you could retell the story.
Okay.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Curated Clinical. I am Dr. Allison Mathews, and I am here today with a special guest, Marvin Anderson, Reverend Marvin Anderson.
Just Marvin.
Okay, just
I'm
Marvin.
good with just Marvin.
So, as you all know, and I know y'all been listening in, tuning in, Curated Clinical is where we break down health information and science and clinical trials in an easy to understand way, just like we're sitting at the kitchen table. So we're here at the table today with Marvin.
Thank you for
having me. How you doing?
I am good for the fact that you are more than just Dr. Allison Mathews. You are a person about the town, because I was hungry. I started flying at 6. So when you guys was like, before we do this podcast, I need food. And when I tell you, Doctor, you the plug. Because I'm telling you, what? That food is so good. I don't even know the name of the place you took me to, but it's good.
And we went to, I want to say we went to Camel City Factory. Okay. Barbecue Factory. It was, yeah, that place is good.
It's good, yeah.
So I'm glad that I was able to be one of the first people to greet you here in Winston-Salem. And welcome you to the town.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be
Yeah.
here and excited about why I'm here. And happy to
Awesome.
be on your podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So let's tell the people how we know each other,
Okay.
and then we can jump into this beautiful. Look, he spent some money on this thing. Uh, we can talk about your project,
Okay.
Live,
Okay.
and just kind of have a conversation, sit back and chat.
Sure. So I met you when you were at Wake,
Mhm.
and when you first came there, you started working. Like you just jumped in, and so I just kind of like came in, and then I had opportunity to work with you there, and we just had like this relationship that built across the time span when you were at Wake Forest University, as the ED over the campus
Faith coordinator
faith
center.
coordinator center.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
and then what happened is then there was this this grant process that happened. It was the lit cohort. It was the artist cohort, and I was like, I think I could do it, and I think I should apply. And I remember reaching out to you, and I was like, you think I should do it? You was like, yeah, do it, just do it. And I done spoken word before. I've written books and all of that, and so for this project, I was just like, okay, well, I'm an artist. I'm a word artist, and so I decided I would apply, and I got the grant. So then I called you again. I was excited about that, and really, to be honest, when I'm glad I can say this to you publicly, that this project has changed my life as far as for many reasons, like the work that I do as an HIV advocate and a person living with HIV. Um, and it has shifted my life because this project brought out these gifts and talents in me that I probably would have been too afraid to do
Mhm.
if it was not for a greater purpose. If you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
kind of like,
Absolutely.
oh, it's like this project that it wasn't about for me. It wasn't just about me, and it was like, how can I reach the audience? How can I change community? How can I
Mhm.
shift this pendulum? How can I stop what I consider um, a continuum of the HIV epidemic, which is stigma? And so I just started writing spoken word. I thought, and then I was telling you earlier because you just heard the music, and
Yeah.
so I was bobbing. I was like, I'm not rapping, and then I was like, I'm not a rapper. And then my bro, who's brilliant, Ian Haddock from Normal Anomaly in Houston, the executive director, he's my little big brother, and he
Mhm.
was like, basically, get over yourself. Rap only means rhythm and poetry,
Yeah. I love it.
and that freed me to just take the limits off and to create a project that I am very proud of. Yeah.
So have you? Is this your first time producing an album?
So I did a spoken word project.
Okay.
Well, it was just me, and
Mhm.
then the outro had some music, but it was just me talking, which I don't think that had many streams. Like I'm
I
proud of this
remember
one.
you sending me that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I listened to that one.
yeah.
But this is different.
This is
Yeah.
let's like very different,
Mhm.
because number one, music is a universal language. I wanted to reach urban community. I wanted to reach Black people, and we can put Brown in there if you would like. But I wanted to reach my community and who it impacted, and so yeah, I just basically just this is one of those projects where you hear people say, "Well, I'm just a vessel."
Mhm.
I really was a vessel. Like I'm used to like having this whole like, okay, you're gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that, and if it doesn't fit in that, I'm gonna make it fit. But when I started doing this project, I just yielded myself. I yielded myself to my producer. I yielded myself to the tracks. I yielded myself to everything, and because of that, this is what I have. And so I've learned such a life lesson through this project, as well. Is that if you just yield yourself to the purpose and not try to be such, you know, so controlled over it. But I mean, but it really opened up the artist in me that
Yeah.
I knew was there, but always afraid to tap into it. But this project just kind of opened me up. So I'm going back into the studio.
You're
Yeah, I'm
gonna do
doing
some
more
more?
stuff. Yeah,
Okay. Awesome.
yeah.
So what would you say would is one of your favorite or most meaningful tracks? from the
Um,
project?
I think it's the one I let you hear first. I'm living beyond the red. The project is titled "Live Beyond the Red," specifically because red is the advocacy color for HIV, and living beyond the red, I feel is and can be an anthem for communities that are impacted by HIV. I feel like we fight so much to have our own stuff in our communities and what belongs to us. And so I really feel like Living Beyond the Red, and you can chime in and
Yeah.
agree, but I really think Living Beyond the Red is an anthem
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
overcoming. Like it's a triumphant song. Like I'm living beyond the red. The lyrics talk, about um, stigma and why my life was criminalized and
Mhm.
hate was normalized. And so the words to this like sick beat is just kind of like was the whole premise behind it. Let me give people something to bob to. Let me give people something to bob to. Let me give the people something that they can relate to. Music, which we all know is a universal language, but let me put a message in there, and they'll be singing it and become allies and ambassadors, even if they're not living with,
Right.
right? They can become allies and ambassadors, and so that would be my favorite track so far.
Mhm.
And then the second track would be the track that I open up with, which is called "I Shall Live," my story, my song. Because Living Beyond Red is straight like rap, Usher vibe. But then I Shall Live is me sharing my story with strings, and I go into this straight worship moment,
Yeah.
and I'm
Wow.
just worshiping.
Mhm.
So you didn't hear I was gonna let you hear that last because we wouldn't have
Oh,
got to the
I
part.
can't
Yeah.
wait. No, we yeah,
Yeah,
no.
and so there's this whole worship moment, and it was in one take.
Oh wow.
It was in one take, and when we finished, the
Just really
producer was
organic.
crying, I was crying, the videographer was
Yeah.
crying. It was just the whole thing. And so we have a mini doc, the making of,
Mhm.
that's actually gonna be launched as well on YouTube.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I want to take some time to make sure, for people who are not familiar with some of the terminology that you gave.
Yes.
So you said your life was criminalized.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people don't know that, there are a lot of laws across the United States
Yeah.
and really across the world
Mm-hmm.
that criminalize people living with HIV,
Mm-hmm.
because it said the laws basically say that if you were to pass on the virus to someone else,
Mm-hmm.
that that person could sue you for, like,
Well, I am
yeah,
from
how does it go?
Louisiana, and I'm also a consultant for Louisiana Coalition of Criminalization and Health.
Okay.
And so this past session was very grueling for us, and it
Mm-hmm.
was very daunting and sad because since 1987 in the state
Mm-hmm.
of Louisiana, there's an exposure law,
Okay.
not a transmission law.
Okay.
There's
Mm-hmm.
a law that says if I'm in proximity to you and I sneeze or spat or something like that, then you could say that I intentionally tried to expose you.
Even
And
though we know that you
even
can't
though we know that you
get
cannot
HIV
get
that way.
HIV that way,
Mm-hmm.
and I could number one, like just the whole public humiliation behind
Right.
having to fight something like that. Secondly, you go to court. If you're criminalized, then that's a felony. And then on top of that, in the state of Louisiana, you have to be on a sexual offender registry
Oh
for
wow.
15 years.
Really?
Yes.
So
And
how many people have actually been prosecuted for that law?
I know it's been 100 plus. I
Mm.
don't know the exact number. Um, yeah. And so we even have people in this community that are doing this work that were impacted by that. And it's just crazy. And that's just Louisiana law
Mm-hmm.
because that's where I'm from. And so when I talk about my life as criminalized, it's just instead of humanizing me as an experience, another thing too is let's just say if I had a partner and, you know, I'm an advocate, I got signs and billboards and songs out. Well, of course, I'm going to share with my partner that, hey, I'm HIV positive. I'm undetectable, which means undetectable means untransmittable. The whole science behind it all, right? Um, just kind of like rids us of these fears that we've had for so long, or these stigmas that we've had for so long. Well, if Mad Day comes and my partner just want to say, you know what, I got something for you. I'm gonna say exposed me to not transmitted,
Right.
but that you
Exposed.
exposed me. And so all of those things that I said earlier are now applicable to me because a person said it,
So they're really weaponizing.
weaponizing it.
Hmm.
Yeah. And so when I said about, one of the lyrics, some of my bars said, I fought to realize when my life was criminalized, the black and brown lives were headed for genocide, and the hate was normalized. Because that's what these laws do.
Yeah.
That's what these laws do. And so, yeah, so especially in the South, in the deep South, where stigma just rings true. So on this project, Dr. AI, it's like a full circle moment because I'm a worshiper.
Hmm.
And so I worship because that's what brought me through, having a diagnosis on this project. I get mad on one of the tracks and just go off because I've experienced that as well. I've
Right.
experienced stigma as well, and the passion and the anger behind it. And so, like on one of the tracks, I talk about um, the stigma of religion
Hmm.
that intersects and impact HIV stigma. Like it all goes together. Our connection came through the Faith Coordinating Center to do this work, Faith and HIV, to help destigmatize that in faith spaces. And so this project is kind of like just allowed me to just open up and just be all of those things through the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because, black folk, we love the church. We are.
But do the church love us, huh?
Does the church love us? It's always the question. And I think, even beyond HIV, the church has had a complicated history with health in general.
Yeah.
And just any kind of topic that is outside of the 10 things that you're allowed to talk about in the church. So if we talk about women's health, we talk about relationships, domestic violence, we talk about sex, we talk about
Alcoholism.
cancer, alcoholism, anything. It's like, oh no, we can't talk about that. We don't do that here.
Right.
That's for the sinners.
Well, it's because like a lot of times, like when I'm in rooms back home or when I'm in spaces and I'm trying to get faith leaders to understand, what this is, I always say that this is a health issue.
It's a health issue,
not a moral issue.
Right.
This is a health issue, not a moral issue, because morality has nothing to do with it. And so I find faith spaces have connected it to
Right.
a moral issue. You slept with this person, you did this, and because you did that, then this happens. But what happens to, the individuals who are born with HIV, who have to live full lives and still have to be impacted by these crazy stigmas and laws, right? So yeah.
What? Yeah, and it's a double standard, right? Because people want to judge a person living with HIV, but they don't judge other people for other behaviors or other health conditions, and so, it's
Yeah, like, for not being accountable. Like earlier,
Right.
you wouldn't eat with me. You was like, no, I'm not eating
oh,
that.
because I'm trying to lose weight.
You was like, I'm working on my health, like not just your weight, but
Yeah,
you're like my
I wanna be
overall
healthy.
health. Right? I
Right.
want to be healthy. So you was like, yep, nope, I can't have that carrot souffle. I can't have
Even though I
that.
wanted
Yeah,
it.
you know what I'm saying?
It smelled good.
And it was good, but so yeah, you're absolutely correct. It's like those things that are safe, or that may seem safe, but it's still as detrimental, if not more.
Right.
Right now where we are in medicine and science, you know, persons living with HIV like myself live a long, healthy life. The medicines that we have now, is no longer these piles of pills a day. For me, it's a shot. And so
And that's like once a month.
every 2 months.
Every 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also just want to make sure people understand undetectable equals untransmissible, meaning you take that medicine consistently, and your viral load, your HIV viral load, goes down to
Less
a point where
less than 20.
yeah. So to the point where if you take an HIV test, it wouldn't detect it,
wouldn't be
in the
yeah.
test because viral load is so low.
Yeah.
That also means that you wouldn't pass on the virus even without a condom.
Right.
Without even women who are breastfeeding
Mm-hmm.
are now allowed to breastfeed their children. if they're undetectable.
Yeah.
So we've come a long way.
A long way. Um, and that's the thing. So the laws in Louisiana, like that law, it was put in 1987.
Mhm.
It's 2024.
Right.
The science of HIV, the medicine, the like all that has come so far, and we're not there anymore. But the law holds us there.
Yeah.
And just being in the chambers, just being in those hearings,
Mhm.
to hear the people that we elect that have no idea what they're voting on, but the stigma has carried such a loud voice and such a resounding voice that the stigma overrides truth. And so this project for me is not only for my community out there who we are striving and we are thriving and we are contributors to our communities big
Right.
time, but not only that, for people like yourself and people in my community who are allies and ambassadors who say, I'm going to stand with you
Mhm.
because this is the truth and that's not the truth. And
Mhm.
so we have to do this work together.
So, have you ever participated in any research projects?
I think, what's the difference between a research project and a study?
Okay. So,
Since
I'm
research
glad you
study
asked
is like,
this.
because I do a little something and get a gift card. So I was
Right.
like, what is it? Like, what's the real deal?
So there's different types of research,
Okay.
and study and research project are this the same, different words for the same thing, but there's different types. So I'm a sociologist and a public health researcher, so I mostly do interviews, and a lot of times a research study could be us just sitting and talking like this, right?
Okay.
Where you participate in research, an interview or a focus group discussion, or you take a survey.
Okay.
So that's called behavioral research.
Okay. So I would say yes to that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we kind of move into the clinical trial space where there's multiple phases, and
Okay.
I'm laughing because I'm thinking about Marcus, who was like, "Oh, I think we have 3 phases of clinical trial." I'm like, "No, there's way more than that." But so there's animal studies.
Okay.
So that's preclinical, where or even before animal studies, they do stuff that's like in a petri dish, and they're just trying to see how the cells interact with each other and things like that, right?
Okay.
And how the cell and or a virus or something reacts to a chemical compound, which could turn into a medicine.
Okay.
Then you have animal studies. That's like once they found out that this is kind of like effective and works in the petri dish, then they move it into animals. So it could be a mouse or a monkey or some other type of animal that has a similar immune system. Oh, pigs also.
Okay.
So you can actually, there's something called humanized mice where they can kind of alter a mouse's immune system, or they can grow an organ that with a mouse that is similar to a human organ.
So
and
that's
then
why
do
they
studies.
choose those animals. Okay,
Mhm.
so we're thinking they're just being mean to that certain group of animals.
No.
Okay.
I mean, there's something genetically that
Okay.
allows them to manipulate
Well, I thought.
and or to study.
Somebody out there like, no, we ain't thinking nothing. That's what you thought. I
Yeah.
was like,
And then monkeys, of course, we are very closely related to them, so
Okay.
they do research on them. Although they stopped doing research on certain types of monkeys because they were too human-like, like
Yeah.
chimpanzees.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Okay.
they don't do those anymore. But
Okay.
anyway, rhesus macaques are the type of monkey that they typically do research on.
Okay.
And then once they found out, okay, the medicine is doing pretty well in these animals,
Yeah.
and they don't have any major side effects, then they move into human trials.
Okay.
So phase 1 is like 5 to 10 people that they may, healthy people who don't have any health condition, and they may just again do some research with them to see do those people tolerate the medication, what's the potential side effects, what impact does it have on their body, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just answering a basic question. Then they move to phase 2, where they may have a small trial of 10 to 50 people who have the health condition that they're studying.
Okay.
So it could be HIV, or it could be cancer or diabetes or something like that.
Okay.
And they follow that population. And so that usually, it depends on the study, but a lot of studies, they want to be very specific about, like, we don't want you to have, HIV and diabetes, or HIV and cancer, or whatever. So they want to make sure that that's the only thing that's different about you, is that you have that health condition.
Okay.
And no other issue. Otherwise, you're healthy, right?
Okay.
Then you move into phase 3 and 4. Phase 3 is like a larger group of people, 200 to 1,000 people.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be me from a previous group, right?
No, these are all different groups of
Okay.
people. So then phase 3 is like you're trying to get more diversity. So you try to, so this is the issue, and this is part of the reason why we have curated clinical, is that all those phases before is usually white people. It's very rare to see people of color or women involved in any of those studies.
Wow.
So you don't, typically it's up until about phase 3 where you start to see more representation of people of color or women in a study, or people who are different weights. Like a lot of times they also are only studying people who are not obese, which I wouldn't even count in that. You or I wouldn't count.
Yeah.
Like people with a certain kind of weight, and then if they have other comorbidities. Comorbidity means other health conditions.
Okay.
And then phase 4 is like pretty wide scale, and you have other health conditions, and they're trying to see how the drugs interact with other drugs and things like that. Or phase 4 might be you move from a pill to an injection to see like what, which one works better, which mode of administering the drug works better for that population.
Wow, it can be very intense. I didn't even know like the layers and the levels to that. So I think, I would veer to say that I've probably been a part, but how would I know? Because do they have to tell me? Like, how would I?
So typically, they go through a consent process.
Okay.
It's called informed consent, where they explain what the study's about. They tell you what you have to do to participate in the study. They tell you whether you're going to benefit from it or not, and if you're going to get a gift card, how long it takes for you to participate in the study.
Okay.
So, a study could be 30 minutes where you fill out a survey.
Mm-hmm.
It could be an hour where you're doing an interview or focus group. It could be a year where they follow you and you go in for multiple clinic visits.
Okay.
So
I would say yes.
Okay.
I've been a part of it. Yeah.
So what was your experience participating in research?
Like the name of it, or
You can tell me the name, or
so I've done the survey part. I have done the question. I've had conversations. I've had listening sessions where they come in and it's like, this is the phase of it. We're going to ask you all these questions. So I think like various like situations like that. I've seen some where you elevate, and then they even watch what you eat with this medicine and stuff like that. I never got to that phase, and I'm glad about it. Don't tell me not to eat my ice cream. Yes.
I participate. This is actually how I got my Fitbit. I participated in a research study. It was a national study, and I literally just signed up because I wanted the Fitbit. But it basically tracked my activity over time.
Okay.
And then I took like two or three surveys throughout the year, and then they would like send me little motivational messages. I'm like, okay, I gotta work out. But yeah, I mean, there's different types of studies. And then I've also participated in. So you could also do one where you like donate blood or donate spit. I've donated spit before, saliva.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or if you've done like 23andMe, you can opt in because you're basically giving them your DNA. You can opt in for them to do research on that DNA.
Okay.
Sometimes even researchers, like say with the 23andMe or this study that I was doing, the national study, you may never actually meet the researcher. You may just say, yeah, you can use my data, and then the researcher is just looking at data, and they don't know what your name is or who
Okay.
you are,
Okay.
but they're just looking at your data, and they
Okay.
want to see like what are the trends over this population, and they may be asking certain questions like what does it look like for men in Fitbits? What does it look like for women in using Fitbits? What does it look like for, if you if does the Fitbit change their behavior and make them want to exercise more, or
Yeah.
things like that. So they're always trying to answer certain questions with the research,
Okay.
and the goal is to share the findings from that research and to benefit the community.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. So I'm sure I've been a part of a few of those.
Okay.
Yeah. And so my experience, I've always, because they always tell you what it's for.
Mhm.
And so because of the purpose behind it,
Mhm.
I've always been open to them. Um, and, one of the things though is just like not, for a few of them, not really getting enough feedback
Yeah.
of what was the outcome. Because I guess
Mhm.
there's, like you said, there's so many different phases and stages. They don't necessarily have time to come back to every single person and tell them.
They, I think that's something that I think we need to hold researchers accountable for. Is they have the time, they just don't think that it's important.
Important, okay.
And I think that is something that community really needs to push for. And people, I think a lot of community members don't realize the power that they have. Especially being in the HIV space, this is something that I've learned is that there's a lot of community advocates in HIV clinical trials and community advisory boards, and they go to the FDA, they go talk to the National Institute of Health, they go to all these meetings, and they are advocates for the way that research is done and holding researchers accountable for giving the kind of reporting back to the community on what they found, making it easy and accessible for people to access the information, and to make sure that this is another thing that I really am a big advocate for is community researchers, when they get the funding, that they hire people from the community who look like the community. So like if HIV mostly impacts Black and brown people, then you need to hire Black and brown people to be on the study. And also putting money into Black and brown institutions and businesses, and then making sure that people are compensated for their time and their expertise.
Yeah.
Right? Like that comes from community advocating for it and holding people accountable for it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think you have to advocate for yourself. And I think before I became an external advocate, I was like, I had a situation where I was stigmatized by a person in healthcare at the clinic that was supposed to be to help me. And and there was just some inappropriate questions as I was triaged, and I was like, doesn't make you feel comfortable, and the individual didn't care, and so I filed a grievance, and something happened. And so that's really what gave me this advocacy muscle to be like, okay, we can enact change. And I say that to be in agreement with you is that if community doesn't say, right, then it's like, and so just like with this project, it's like, and I did a listening part, and I was like, it's not just the persons who are here living with HIV or my guest who's a Black strong woman living with HIV, but if they keep saying that they want it to end, but stigma free is the only win. Every man, woman, boy, and girl, you know what I'm saying, must take a stand.
Yeah.
So that's really what it's about. And so this really is, and I know people don't, but like it's really a community effort. It really is.
So, are there any types of studies that you would be hesitant to participate in?
It just depends. I think it would be like case by case because, of course, we have the medical mistrust that has gone down from generation to generation to generation, from Black women in sterilization to Black men and Tuskegees and all that kind of stuff. And so there's some medical mistrust. I think that just through traumatic experience or traumatic lineage that I kind of know about. So I don't know. I would ask questions, and then I'll make an informed decision based on that.
What kind of questions would you ask?
Like I would ask questions like, so if it's a clinical sort of a medical study where I had to take something, I want to know how it's going to impact my health, how's it going to
Mm-hmm.
make me feel, what are the side effects, like that. So just basically asking what are the, this may be a strong word, but what are the ramifications, or what could potentially be a challenge for me
Mm-hmm.
as an individual being participating in it.
I think some of the other questions that I would ask are what phase of the study, what
Mm-hmm.
phase of the trial is
Okay.
it? Because, like I broke down the different phases, say you're in a phase three, a phase two or three study,
Mm-hmm.
you may have a better chance of benefiting from the drug or the intervention
Mm.
because at that point we kind of have some previous evidence that shows that it's been effective in petri dish in animals and then in a small amount of humans.
Okay.
The second question that I would ask is, you know, have you what's the representation of the people who have participated in previous studies?
Yeah.
Is it mostly white men, or did you have men, women, different racial groups,
Yeah.
etc.?
Yeah.
Um, what else? Oh, do you provide accommodations for people to participate? So,
Okay.
do you provide transportation support or parking vouchers or, of course, gift cards? People know about those, but or money, but those things. I think the other thing is like I know that's typically a question is like what are the side effects, but that's usually why you're doing the study is to
Okay.
find out what the
What the
side
side
effects
effects
are.
Yeah.
So that's kind of is a lot of times it's hard for the researcher to answer that question for you. They can say, well, we think or we kind of know from previous
Mm-hmm.
research this is what it might be, but we
Right.
don't know because we haven't done the research in a larger population of people, and so that's part of the reason why we're doing the study.
Right.
So I mean that is some of the risk is that you're participating in a study so that you can find out what the side effects are.
Yeah.
But what they typically do is monitor. They're doing heavy monitoring of you to see what the side effects are, and or to if there's something that's serious
Mm-hmm.
that they would be able to intervene at as quickly as possible to make sure that you are okay.
Okay. Cool.
So I think that I would ask about what's the protocol, what happens,
Yeah.
how do I, what do you do if you find out there's something going on with me?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Right.
You know,
That's good.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we know what to say.
Now we know.
Put your clipboard down. I'm not signing nothing until you tell me all this stuff. Yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So what's next for you? What are you working on next?
A performance track.
Okay.
That ain't how it was supposed to go. I was supposed to do this project, answer the grant, and be on my way. That's not how it's happening. It's like, can you come to this university and speak to this student body, and
Of
then
course.
like do the rap, do the do the artivism, art
Mhm.
and activism together. Do that, and then talk to them about it. Or can you come over here and be a part of this, event, and so I'm just really just trying to really wrap my mind around artist. Like, dude, you're 51. Like, who does that? like who becomes an artist at 51? But so yeah, so just working on that, and then just
Wait,
really,
let me. Martha Stewart started her company at 50.
really.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen those things where like the Gap Man, like all those people
Yeah.
that did stuff. But I didn't think it was gonna be me. I had it on lock. I was gonna be a life coach and an advocate, and I was
Okay.
gonna be done. Not jumping across the stage with my knees. Talking about some
you,
kind
you
of
had some knee
rapping.
braces.
Listen,
Look.
yeah. So that's what's next, and I want to do more music, but I just want to keep being intentional about what I have been purposed and called to do, and I know my universal purpose is to empower lives, but specifically, um, the authentic process that I've gone through as far as like becoming a public person about my diagnosis and advocacy, and then understanding that there is really still so much work to be done. So I will continue to align that, but but like more, immediately is just to take this project and get it to many as people as I can,
Yeah.
so that they can relate to it, so that they can have an understanding, so that they can be destigmatized. And so my whole premise really overall is to humanize the HIV experience.
I love it.
It has to be humanized.
I really appreciate you joining us at Curated Clinical.
Yes.
I appreciate your friendship and
Yes.
the amount of heart that you have poured into this project. I truly believe that this will touch so many lives, and you should not be surprised because we're gonna have y'all listen to the tracks, at least one track before we close out, and I want y'all to just jam out to it. So which one should we play for?
Do you want them to
people?
Can they hear it really good, or they can listen to it? They can go to a site.
Yeah,
and
but
listen
we're
to
gonna do one track, and then
Okay.
we're gonna tell them
Okay.
about the whole album.
Let's do the anthem.
Okay.
Let's do the.
So then we'll do the anthem for
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
All right.
You want to play it now?
Well, I'm gonna do the actual audio.
I'm
but-
always all like that. Yes. Woohoo!
Yeah.